sun is not a coincidence, and nearly every ancient stone structure around the world is made to represent the sun. Recently, the sun has been developing strange characteristics, strange holes where large chunks of it is completely missing. They are called coronal holes, and yet these are more than holes. They are massive empty spaces, and yet these are clues showing us that parts of the sun are completely gone. Although our governments will not tell us, these satellite images will show you that there is something strange happening to the sun, and it coincides with the summer solstice and the winter solstice. Something or someone in the sun is sending us a signal, and it is creating geometric shapes that align with pyramidal structures here on Earth. This is another sun monument found in the Americas, and it is the Aztec Pyramid of the Sun. We've seen this structure for hundreds of years. And then look again. Closer. And this is the sun. And this is a perfect match. Something within the sun is creating these coronal cold spots, and they are creating a signal to those of us on Earth who can read their message. The confirmation of this signal is even more powerful in the land of the Mayans. This is the Mayan temple of the sun. Notice the distinct square dimensions at the top. And now, the sun. Even more, this is the Egyptian pyramid. Notice the square hole at the bottom of the pyramid. And near the summer solstice, this is the sun. An opening, a doorway into another world. The reason the summer solstice and the winter solstice was so important to the Anunnaki was because the summer solstice means the stargate is open, and it represents their only chance to get home. It is unbelievable. It is also staggering, and yet it is all true. This grand and powerful structure is a symbol of Ethiopia, and it is a nearly 2,000-year-old enigma, and no one truly knows what it means or what it was actually for. It is called the Axum Obelisk, and it is made for Ethiopian royalty. The knowledge of its purpose has been lost to humanity for nearly 2,000 years. Nevertheless, its knowledge is revealed today, and this great question is solved with a very simple answer. Egypt. It is a towering figure, and it escapes our intellect, but if we bring it down to size, you can see what it truly is. It is the sun. How do we know it is the sun? Is the same reason we know the pyramids of Egypt are of the sun. It is the sun because it is in the land of the children of the sun. Ethiopia is actually a Greek name, and the original meaning of Ethiopia is face burned from the sun. And at the bottom of this sun obelisk is something you never see on an Egyptian obelisk. A door. If we expand this obelisk, we can see it. It has 10 layers that lead to a door, and its 10 layers are identical to the Mayan pyramid of the sun, which also has 10 layers. However, this sun has something that no other sun structure has in the world: a door. Our sun has a door, and it is a door that leads into space and the outer reaches of the cosmos. Because believe it or not, the sun is a stargate. The reason all of this knowledge is found in nations of peoples of color is because of one sobering reason. Although we have seen images of Caucasian Anunnaki for years, you will find that that is only part of the story. Because the Anunnaki were not all Caucasian. They were also black. These are some of the earliest images of the Anunnaki, and as you can see, they are beings who are clearly of what we would call African descent. Nevertheless, these particular alien gods are full of knowledge and wisdom. The Anunnaki were called angels and sons of God, but more than anything else, they were known as teachers. Every cave painting and every stela are created as interdimensional hieroglyphics, which means they are created with multiple layers of information in also multiple dimensions. This Anunnaki has angelic wings on his back, and this means he has the ability and the power of flight. He also has a tree stalk in each hand. The reason he holds these tree stalks is because this depiction shows from where he comes, and he comes from Orion. The Greek story of Orion shows a man holding a club. However, this is a more perfect telling of the story, because it is true, he does hold a wooden tree as a club. But look closer. Upon this wooden club are 3 flowers. But on the other hand, in the ancient world, a flower is not necessarily a flower. These 3 tulips are in fact stars. Notice that one of the flowers is slightly off-centered from the other 2. It is off-centered because this is the constellation of Orion. It is the constellation of their origin and the constellation of their home. Then again, look closer. There are 2 branches, and each represents Orion. But notice the flowers or stars are reversed and opposite of each other. This subtlety means that one represents the direction from whence they have come to our planet. The other represents the view from our planet. They have the ability to be in 2 places at the same time. And how they are able to do this is found in each of his arms. From one branch of the cosmos to the other, you will notice the circles appear to be compressed going down his arms, from one branch to the other. These circles are actually planets. These planets become warped and are compressed as they travel from one end of heaven to the other. How this travel is possible is found at its center. Notice that he is coming out of a large and beautiful ringed circle, and a circle that has flowers all around it. Children of men, hear me. Those are not flowers adorning the circles. They are actually stars. And this is the Stargate. The Babylonians called it the Gate of God, and the Egyptians called it the Gate of Heaven. It is a doorway into the next world, and it will lead us far beyond our imaginings. Our answer has been staring us in the face for more than 12,000 years. Each structure has more and more clues which tell us where to go. The Sphinx says, the sun. The pyramid blocks say 365, which also means the sun. The Ethiopian obelisk also says the sun. And more importantly, it also tells us that there is a door. And the last pyramid has the easiest clues of all, the Mayans. In ancient Egypt, there were two symbols that a man would need to know to understand the cosmos. The first is a simple square. The second is a circle with an X in the center. A square means cosmos, space. The circle with an X in the center is a land, a place, or a city. As in Egypt, when we go to the Mayans, you will see the same structure. The Mayan pyramid is a simple square, and if we view it from above, you will notice the Mayan pyramid has two symbols laying one upon the other. It is the sun. It is the place where the land and city are found, and it is also entry into the cosmos. This knowledge enlivens us and beckons us into the cosmos and into space, where we will find our future, our end, and also alien life. UFOs are seen all over the earth, and yet there is one place where they are seen more than any other: the United States of America. There is more UFO activity in the United States of America than anywhere else in the entire world. And they are always there in this country because this country will play a critical part in mankind's future. And it is a future that lingers in the past. The Earth's UFO hotspot is the United States, and conversely, the UFO hotspot of our solar system is the sun. The sun has more UFO activity than anywhere else we've ever seen, and the reason why is because the sun is not just a ball of light. It is also a gateway. It is an open door for travel, and what is eye-opening is the various types of UFOs that are coming through this gate. All shapes, all sizes, various propulsion systems, and yet they all enter through the same opening in the sun. This difference in design indicates different species of alien, and also the probability that most of these alien vehicles are from different star systems, from different galaxies. This deliberate emergence around our sun is for us. And what they are doing is showing us how to move into the cosmos. All of this knowledge comes from what we believed was our dull-witted and ancient forefathers, people whom we all believed were less than us, and also less accomplished than we are. Because after all, we are more than they could ever be, or so we thought. The sun and the stargate is the glory of their knowledge. However, there is something even greater than all of these, and it is called the spider. The spider is one of the most feared symbols in the ancient world, and yet the very understanding of this symbol will bring us to our knees. It will eliminate all discussions and all doubts about our prehistoric cave dwellers and our Egyptian stone kings. It is a proof so powerful that once revealed, every man, woman, and child will know that this is the end. And also, we will know that we have done this before. The spider has been stricken from nearly every Egyptian hieroglyph in Egypt. This one is found in Nazca. It is a spider, and not just any spider. It is a spider with 8 strange legs. And that is the clue. When any line in Nazca stretches past the original object, that is a clue, which tells you that it is something of great distance, and it is also something far beyond the plane. Its leg stretches beyond the spider to indicate vast distance and direction, and both of these become the most powerful clue. This is important because each drawing in Nazca is telling us a story, and at the same time, they are warning us. A Nazca 8-legged spider with a large bulbous posterior is created to represent the sun. However, when one of its legs is leading away from the spider, this means that it has a connection to something else that is of a great distance away. This ancient artifact was just recently discovered in Egypt, and it tells us the story which will silence every skeptic among us. This spider has a hole in its center, and it also has 8 legs. But what is so important about this artifact is that this spider represents our solar system. Its 8 legs control our 8 planets, and the Earth is one of them. The spider has dominion over every planet in our solar system. And although we believe that we only have 8 planets in our solar system, we actually have 10. There is an enigma of great distance that is connected to the spider's grasp on our planets. There is an argument to be made for Pluto and Ceres, and this argument is not lost on the Egyptians. Look closely at the outer ring of this spider. Its 8 legs control the 8 planets of our solar systems. However, look at the outer ring, and you will see 2 small planets, one slightly larger than the other. The larger planet is Pluto, and the smaller moon is Ceres. And how do we know this for a fact? We know this because we find Egyptian pyramids on both of them. Stagger, stumble, fall over as a drunken man, for there is no knowledge higher than this. An 8-legged spider has dominion over 8 planets, but this outer ring shows us that our sun spider has dominion over 10 planets. The Mayan pyramid has 10 layers. The Ethiopian obelisk has 10 layers leading to a door. The spider is the most important symbol of all, because this spider will lead us 50,000 years into the past. A past where we will enter a dark and powerful chapter in our human history. These are 50,000-year-old cave paintings of large-eyed aliens and beings of every kind. And then again, they are not. Because the cave painter is seen as a dumb savage brute who was just discovering art, we in our arrogance dismiss them from any notion of intellect or genius. And yet, each of these well-detailed paintings are actually sophisticated covert transmissions. What makes these messages so sophisticated is the fact that they made them for a people who would live 50,000 years after they died. They made them for us. Our professors, our scientists, and our theologians are as blind as the rest of us, and we are all blinded by our conceited beliefs. They were monkey people, cavemen, Neanderthals. They were dumb. And the most vile statement of all that we make as a people is they just weren't as intelligent as we are today. And yet, it is a prehistoric message in paint sent to every single one of us to show us that they were us, and also that they were just as intelligent as us, and even more. We call ourselves intelligent, and many of us call ourselves brilliant. And if so, you can see it. Look. It is time to abandon our childish beliefs and our visions of aliens, as we can no longer be children anymore. They are showing us what we should already know. Every spider has its home. This is our solar system of 10 planets. And this is the place of the spider. Its web. Yes, they were technological. They achieved what we achieved. And this spider has its house in the sun. And its web holds all of these planets within it. They were us. And they are reaching out to us, begging us not to believe, but instead to know that this is true. And now, look again at this 50,000-year-old cave painting of aliens, and then realize what you are seeing are not aliens. This is a solar system, and this is the spider's home. And surrounding this spider is its web. And the spider's home is always the sun. Everything you see in this cave painting is a vision of the cosmos. It is the outer reaches of our universe. Every one of these aliens aren't aliens. They are, in fact, star systems, solar systems, and black holes. As in Nazca, the spider with 8 legs means that it is a solar system that has 8 planets. But look closely at this star system and notice its spider legs. If you count them, you will see that there are only 6 legs. This indicates that this solar system has only 6 planets. This, children of Earth, is not a primitive delusional painting of aliens. This is a star map. And these are directions. We will need these directions because these alien beings with these large dark eyes are not even aliens. The world tells us they are aliens, so our minds confirm it. And we as humanity walk into a delusion and we teach it to each other. It is time for us to mature and leave the fantasy of aliens behind and walk into the age of enlightenment. And knowing what is an alien and what is not is the first step. The dark eyes of these aliens have marks going all around them. And many would believe that these are eyelashes going around these black alien eyes. To the contrary, these marks around these dark eyes actually mean light. And why this is so important is because these are not eyes. These are black holes. Each of these spider systems are solar systems, and at the center of these systems is a sun, and every sun is a stargate. The sun is a stargate because the sun is not a planet. It is a star, and it is also not solid. The reason these dark coronal images can be created in the sun is because the sun is hollow. Underneath this bright, powerful, shining sun is a dark coronal center, and it almost looks like the night sky. There is a world within the sun, and this world opens a gateway which allows us to travel throughout the cosmos. A coronal hole is a cold spot within the fiery giant, and these coronal holes are made for us. They will open up this gate and create a cool corridor of space and gas, which will lower the temperature just enough for us to enter. And if you wonder how can this be, notice this cave painting. For 13,000 years, we were told it is a UFO. And here is another. We must let go of our imaginings and our old beliefs, because these are not UFOs. And what they are actually satellite images of the sun. Within the rings of this sun spider are 17 holes. And now, look again at what we once thought was a UFO. The clue is the number of dots that are beneath the UFO. If you count them, you will find that there are not 16 dots, but instead 17. You may think that these two symbols do not line up, but then look again. The sun has 16 cardinal points of direction for destination, and yet it has one more. And it's not a point of destination, it is a point of origin. And the starting point is at the center of the sun, because at the center of the sun is a hole, and this hole creates a gateway to NC-17. There is a world within the sun, and this world opens a gateway which will allow us to travel throughout the cosmos. We must let go of our imaginings and our old beliefs, because these are not UFOs. Our clue is left to us from Egypt. This hieroglyphic is called the horizon. And archaeologists from around the world agree that it is the horizon. It is the horizon of the sun, but we don't call it that. We call it the event horizon. It is the area in space that crosses a black hole. The reason we call it an event horizon is the same reason it has a black interior. Children of Earth, our sun is not what we think. Our sun is not a planet. It's not just a star. It is a hole in space, and not just any hole. It is a hole that will lead us to an entirely different part of the universe. How can this be? The answer is simple. It is a wormhole, a gateway, a bridge into space. The sun looks like a UFO because we are only seeing half of it. This is space, a grid of flat space. But a heavy object like a planet will warp space, and this curves it and creates gravity. However, when the object is as large as the sun, it warps space even greater. Its powerful light, its powerful gravity, creates a hole in which it sits. Notice Egyptian artwork of the sun. The sun is never raised up, and it is always seated within a hole, because the sun is halfway into a hole. When it does this, it creates the UFO effect, or what we call an event horizon. Einstein's Rosen bridge explains our hole in space by showing us that the gravity of a heavy object like a sun can bend space, pierce space, and fold it so greatly that it falls right through, creating a hole and a white dwarf of a sun, and then a wormhole. A hole that falls through space and comes out as a black hole millions of light years away in an entirely different part of the universe. A bending of space which creates two openings, which then create a bridge in the cosmos. Nonetheless, once a two-dimensional black hole is formed, it creates a vacuum in space, and it becomes so powerful that it sucks in energy from anything that comes near it. It crushes and destroys planets. It devours stars, suns, hot gases, and even light. It is so powerful that it consumes everything in its path, and all of this energy goes into this dark and mysterious hole. However, what the cave painters are telling us is that we don't truly understand a black hole. The universe is made up of multiple dimensions, and we live in a small three-dimensional part of the universe. This is what a black hole looks like in a two-dimensional universe. A flat hole. Conversely, this is what a hole looks like in a three-dimensional part of the universe. Notice that it doesn't look like a hole as it does in a two-dimensional system. The reason why is because a hole in a three-dimensional space looks like a sphere. We live in a three-dimensional universe, and a hole to us looks like a dark planet. The black hole that we see doesn't devour all the energy, and instead, all the energy from the two-dimensional black hole feeds this hot energy to ours. All of the burning planets, stars, gas, and light fall into the black hole of space and comes out of this wormhole into our three-dimensional hole. It comes to our universe burning, seething with fire and hot gases. Only when it fills our skies, we don't call this a hole in space. We call it the sun. Yes, this is real. Look closer. Notice these two black, large eyes. And notice its strange nose. These are not aliens. The two black eyes is the center of a black hole. That which we believe to be its nose is a diagram showing what a black hole creates. Down the snout of its nose, you'll find all the way at the bottom the sun. A sun is a black hole. The sun was a great sun, but it collapsed and became a black hole. In a two-dimensional part of our universe, it is a massive black hole. However, if you notice all the way at the end, it still looks like the sun, for it is encircled in a three-dimensional universe. These are not aliens. These are black holes. This is what we believe to be an alien. And now, this is what it actually looks like in space. Children of men. Yes, they were highly technological. And this is what they're saying to us. The spider of Nazca is a warning. And this is another warning. It is found in Nazca, Peru. Look closely. It is a vessel that represents the sun. And it is also a spider. This vessel of the sun has an opening at the top. But once inside the sun, there is something else watching us. And watching us with alien eyes. Alien eyes are always watching us from inside the sun. And now, they aren't just watching us. They are inviting us. This nearly 15,000-year-old cave painting looks to be aliens. And then again, they are not. We must abandon the thoughts of the human mind and instead receive the thoughts of an enlightened mind, which to us is alien. Each one of their paintings are created with interdimensional hieroglyphics. It is information in one object that is layered with additional information in multiple dimensions. Look closer. Open your mind. Don't trust our history. Don't trust our science. Trust theirs. This cave painting joins the hand of the Egyptians with the hands of they who lived 20 and 30,000 years ago. In ancient Egypt, the coronation of godhood is not a halo as it is in our world. When one achieved the crown of godhood, that individual would henceforth be depicted in all writings and sculptures as a giant. A giant is an ancient symbol of God, and it is why all of Egypt is seen as the land of giants. This may be seen as arrogance from our burgeoning intelligence, but in actuality, it is supreme knowledge. When we look upon the cave paintings, what we are seeing is the sun. Notice the texture of this painting and how it matches the sun's uneven surface. This is the sun, and this is the entry into the sun, where there are burning temperatures and flaming gas. However, when the gateway is open, cool temperatures will allow man to enter, as denoted by this opening. Once inside, there is a giant, a being who will take hold of man, as denoted here. But then notice the man's lungs are enlarged. This means the alien being will provide oxygen and secure our living environment. We will enter a stargate, and we will travel deep into the universe, into places we've never dreamed of. These strange beings surrounding the sun are not aliens. They are star-sun systems, constellations, and planets. When we enter this wormhole, we will enter into the body of the universe, where navigation can be tricky. A wormhole can travel through various dimensions, 5 dimensions, 6 dimensions, and 7 dimensions. Our onboard navigation and communications devices will be useless. This is why the knowledge of star constellations is so important, because when we exit the Stargate, we won't have any contact with Earth. We will end up millions of light years away, and even receiving a message from Earth will take nearly 2 years to receive it. Our ancients are well aware of this disconcerting feeling of being lost in space. So in order to alleviate our fears, they left us another method of navigation that is more reliable than our technology. When we are lost in space, to get our bearings, our painters have painted several animals surrounding the Stargate. Nevertheless, look closer. Notice that each animal has strange dots painted within them and around them. And also remember, dots painted in any animal means it's a star constellation. All of these strange animals are in fact star constellations. And this entire painting is actually a map, a star map of the cosmos. This is where the crossed circle becomes our most important tool. Identifying these star constellations will tell us where we are in the cosmos, and it will also guide us to the house of our Creator. Our cave painters are showing us how to enter the cosmos. They are also showing us how to navigate the cosmos. And they are also showing us something even more powerful. They are clearly showing us that they have done it before. And they're also telling us we are not alone. Children of men, children of earth, we are not worthy. This knowledge has not been spoken on this planet for more than 40,000 years. All of this knowledge is meant to tell us one thing. A sun, when it falls through space, creates a hole. A hole creates a bridge. And a bridge creates interstellar travel. We can now do the impossible. We can leap beyond our years and beyond our human lifespan. And we can now walk into the cosmos. The angels tell us we come from the stars, and the aliens tell us how to get there. The pyramid tells us of the place of our birth, and it also tells us the distance to the house of God. A trip into the universe that is impossible for human flesh. For this kind of travel will require a human being to be able to live for more than 1,000,000 years. However, this new knowledge changes everything. Andromeda and the house of God is 2.5 million light years away. Only now, this trip won't take millions of years to reach it. No, now it will take months. We can now visit Cygnus, Andromeda, Orion, and Triangulum. We can walk into the kingdom of heaven and drink wine at the table of God. The impossible is now possible. The unbelievable is now a fact. It is holy knowledge, and this knowledge is now ours. It is our time to rise, and our time for glory. A brass ring, a prize, and a crown of wisdom that is given to each and every one of us. To make this journey will require our courage, our faith, our strength, and most of all, it will require us to be enlightened. There is more UFO activity in the United States than anywhere else on this planet. And the reason why there is so much UFO activity there is because this nation was here before. And on our first maiden journey into the cosmos, they want an American to go. In order to understand them and their knowledge, we can't think like humans. We have to think higher than that. We have to think like an alien. Why? Because enlightenment is an alien concept to us. Enlightenment is more than thought, more than speech. It is an understanding that is in and of itself more. It is a definition that clearly describes the abundance of everything and the lacking of nothing. Enlightenment is the prize and the mantle that is given to us by our Creator. It is neither science nor math, faith or belief, and it is instead the ability to see all of these things as one. We see a 50,000-year-old written record of what we were. We see aliens, UFOs, and we also saw something even more disturbing. We saw imbeciles. We are so arrogant that we believe any version of Earth that came before us is inferior to us. A vile collective nature that is taught from one generation to the next. And yet our superiority and our heightened sense of accomplishment are confirmed here. This is the Earth. This is our home. And it is also dying. How superior should we actually be? No other civilization that came before us has inflicted this much pain on the surface of our planet. We are the worst of all humans who have ever walked on this earth. They who came before us were better than us. They left us great wisdom in carvings, writings, pyramids, and paintings. They tell us of the cosmos and of the Stargate, which allows us to travel into the universe. We laugh at these works and dismiss them as the ramblings of cavemen and wandering ancient fools. In our arrogance, we can say what we want of these peoples and their works. It is true that they did leave us with crude, ancient, and childish art. But at least they left us an earth to live on, which is more than any of us can say. Because at our current pace, whether we reach the Stargate or not, there won't be an Earth to come back to.